Let's get it situated. All right, I'm not going to exactly show you how to make the hummingbird. The body of the hummingbird is significant in that you can use it to make the Kingfisher, and you can use it to make the nuthatch, and you can use it to make a number of like the duck or something like that. So I'm going to be referring to this body type on certain ones. The only thing that'll change is the head, okay? But the head is still a short row kind of thing. Now, if you're interested in how I did my beak on the hummingbird, take a look at my unicorn pattern, and I used the horn. Now I worked it down from 4, but I used the horn pattern extended to make the hummingbird beak, okay, if you're interested. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make this body type, okay, and we're going to go into that. So I'm going to show you actually how to make a Kingfisher, but keep that in mind that this is the baseline of this body type, okay? It's a short row concept, okay? So if you enjoy the Kitchener cast on, you can do it at this point, okay? Which is what I did here. You'll see where that Kitchener cast on is, about right here, okay? You'll notice there is no real seamage there, and it doesn't look like it, okay? But let's say you don't get the Kitchener cast on at all. You just don't. What you want to do is you want to go in and do a chain cast on or an E-wrap cast on, one you can tighten, or do something like that, and you can do a whip stitch close, or you can do a mattress stitch. Okay, so it's entirely up to you. I'll probably simplify it for you and show you how to do it with chain cast on and whip stitch closed, okay? But you just don't get that smoothness. If you want the smoothness, you'll have to either use the mattress stitch or you will have to use the Kitchener cast on, okay? So what you want to do is you want to chain cast on all 24 pegs. Now, here's the thing. If the body is smooth at the back end like this and there's more of a tail, you do the tail first like you did in the bluebird. You'll do the tail first at the position that you normally have it at, and then you'll slowly work it back in with your wrap and turn pegs and stuff like that, okay? So you're going to chain cast on all 24 pegs, okay, because you're going to eventually sew this up. And the chains will make it easier if you're going to do a whip stitch to sew it up. Alright. So we're trying to keep it nice and simple. But some of these birds are more of a challenge. The hummingbird is more of a challenge due to its body shape and its beak. Alright. Okay, and then I'm going to stick that single one right over there. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit over 11 and you're going to wrap and turn. Now if you're doing the Kitchener cast on, you want to do a full row of knit, okay? But at this rate we're just going to do a knit 11 and wrap and turn, okay? So if you've made a sock, this should seem pretty familiar to you. I love short rows. It's one of the biggest things that can go in and shape a bird. That's why I use it so much. It's the reason why not many people make animals quite the way I do. 10. Okay. Wrap and turn. When you do a wrap and turn, wrap around the back of the peg and to the front. If you know my other versions, please give them a shot. I personally like the twin knit where you take it back. It's a little cleaner. There's other ways of doing a wrap and turn. This is just my way of doing a wrap and turn. It's entirely up to you how you want to do this short row method. Okay, but we will be working in and working our way back out, and that will be an important note to keep in mind. Okay, so if you've worked a sock, this is easy. So you're going to knit 10, wrap and turn. Right, and then you're just going to go over just before the last wrap and turn peg, wrap and turn, and you are going to wrap and turn your way down to 4 single stitches between your wrap and turn pegs, and I'll show you what that looks like, okay? So you're going to wrap behind and in front and work your way back over. This is the underbelly, so if you are doing a version yourself and you are doing the underbelly first, so keep that in mind. This is the underbelly. We are going to switch over to the blue when we go to do the increase section, so keep that in mind. That's the top of the bird. Alright, so wrap and turn, and you're just going to keep going back and forth, wrapping and turning until you're down to 4 single stitches. So pause the video and get that much done. Okay, so we've got our 4 single stitches, and let me go to my notes on the honey. Alright. So you'll definitely want to pull out your stitch markers in this. I don't make a mess. You'll want to pull your stitch markers out. And the reason being is this is going to make it easier. Now typically I don't use them. I'm used to this method. I don't really bother with them, but if you're not used to this method, you don't know what you're looking for, this makes a huge, huge difference. Alright, so as you notice, there's this little tail right here, and there usually is a little tail. Alright, you can do this tail longer if you want. You can go down only to 6 and do a longer tail that way. It's up to you. This is a guideline, not an exact science here. Okay, so according to my thing, you've done your wrap and turn, you've knit 4. Okay, then you're going to slip and knit 3 for 6 rows. Okay, every slip you do, you need to put a stitch marker. So we're going to slip this stitch. So we're going to put a stitch marker on it to start. This does take longer when you're doing it this method, but if you're not used to this technique, it does make a huge difference. Knit 3. Alright, this is row 1. Slip. Go to slip, put a stitch marker there. Okay, then you're going to slip and knit 3. Now when you go to slip, slip under the stitch marker. Okay, let me see if I can show you this better. You want to slip under the stitch marker. If you slip over, it's going to make it harder to pull on. So when you go to slip, you may be inclined to go over the stitch marker, but go up under the stitch marker. This gives you room to pull it back up. You may need to drop the camera a little bit. Okay, now you'll need to add another stitch marker. Every time you slip, you need to add a stitch marker. Alright? Then you slip 1, knit 3. And this is your 3rd row. Now remember, you're slipping under the stitch marker. Pardon the noise of the little chicks. We have little chickens that we're raising right now. They happen to be inside because they're so small. Okay, so you're slipping under, and this is going to be row 4. Slip under. This will be row 5. So slip and knit. This is row 5. And under the stitch marker. And this will be 6. Alright, so slip and knit 3. Alright, and under. Okay, at this point, what it says to do is to knit 3, knit 2, and then we're going to change colors. So we're going to knit 3, actually, okay, so what we're actually doing, sorry about that, we're going to knit 3 from this peg. Okay, so we're going to knit 3, 1, 2, then we're going to knit 2, 1, 2. Now we're going to change colors. Okay, and yes, you're going to completely change. I use the magic knot or the fisherman's knot, depending on where you've learned this from. Okay, I learned this from a knot book, so but some call it magic knot and have learned it another way. So I pull that all the way down to the base, and then I try to get this knot all the way to its base. Okay, and then I pull it to tighten, trying to get it as close to the base of the pegs. Okay, and then you can snip it real close. Okay, now what I like to do at this point is loosen up my stitches there. Okay, now that it says to change to blue, then what you're going to do is knit 3. So here's your 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to knit 1, 2, 3. And here's where it gets interesting. You're going to slip. You're going to find the closest stitch marker to you. This is the one. Okay, find the closest one. It's called pull chain in the pattern. And you're going to pull the chain up and put it there. Okay, and you put it aside. So you're going to slip 1, knit 2, 2. Then you're going to knit 2 together. Okay, so there, we've knitted 2 together. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to pull that chain up to the closest one, which is that one. Up. You're going to slip 1, knit 2, and knit 2 together. You're going to continue this process of pulling the chain up. And I say to do this until you have no more chains to pull up. So you slip 1, knit 2, knit 2 together. Okay, let me do it over here. Once you get this tail section done, you're going to find that this works suddenly a lot like the bluebird. Okay, suddenly it works like a bluebird. This really is the most different section. Okay, and then knit 2 together. If you want this a smoother edge, you'll purl 2 together. I'm just going to make that note. Okay, you're going to do this until you have no more chains to pull. Okay, so we're down to our last one, and we've created a little tail. It's so cute. Okay, so I would have said that was approximately 6 times. Okay, and knit 2 together. Okay, at this point, you're going to slip and you're going to knit your way over, and then you're going to add your first wrap and turn peg in. Knit the 2 together. Then you're going to slip on and knit your way over and knit 2. And you're going to keep doing this back and forth until you have no more wraps and turns. You're going to stop there. Do not work yourself all the way around to the other half of the loom, or you will be putting blue on your chest area. So pause the video, get your wraps and turns added back in, and then we will work the next section. Okay, as you can see, we've got that, and there's our little tail. Isn't it cute? Again, if you want it smoother on the side, just purl the 2 together rather than knit the 2 together. Okay, so now we're ready to move along for the rest of the body. This is where you're going to just attach the orange. I usually do a half knot around it, pull it to the base, and do another half. It will not matter. This is going to be shoved into the inside of the bird. But if you don't want it, you can do that where you start knitting it into the next stitch. We're not going to do that. Okay, so you're going to change color, and you're not going to cut that blue, okay? We're going to do what I call color chunking. Alright, so you're going to knit 12. Okay? So you're just going to knit your way over to the other side. Alright, and that will conclude what I call row 2. Yes, all that stuff happens on a single row. Okay, and here we are. We are ready to start color chunking. Okay, so what I will do, and what I write in there, is to get you back to where you are on the same page. You're going to just knit 12 in your back, and I'll just say that. You're going to knit it back, okay? So that's what it's saying. And so you're going to knit it so you're ready to start. Okay, so here is where your color chunking comes in. Now, on this, I did 10 rows, and honestly, I probably didn't need to do 10 rows. I probably only needed to do about half that, since usually they have smaller bodies, but sometimes they have longer bodies. This area is where you're going to do in order to extend the body how you want. So if you want a shorter body, go shorter. Longer, go longer. Now, we will add feet. I'm going to show you this different type of foot, and the benefit of this foot, I'll show you real quick, is that you can literally a stick through it. Okay, so I will show you how to do these type of feet. Okay, see, they're great that way. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do those. And that's going to be on this next row. Trying to remember what color the because I'm working from my hummingbird pattern. Hold on, let me see what the color is for the Kingfisher. I think it's red for their feet. Yeah, red. Okay, let me get my red. Okay, so what you're going to do, and what it says to do, is you're going to crisscross, like I do, consistently pull the orange up under and over on the blue. And this allows you to not have to cut and knit. And so it makes it very smooth on the side, on halving the color. So you're going to go in and it says to knit 12 in your back color. So on the hummingbird it would be knit green. This is the hummingbird body that I am teaching you right now, and the only difference is it'll be 5 rows for the Kingfisher rather than 10, and I'm half inclined to reduce the size. Okay, so we're going to change. And actually it looks like I knit a single row like this. Okay, sorry, we're not doing the feet yet. I'm going to knit my way over 12. So we're going to do that. We're going to just knit our way over 12. Okay, and we'll start the feet on this row. All right, I'm following my notes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do my blue. So I'm going to work that around. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this particular foot so that you can attach it to, you know, a stick if you want. All right, so here's how this works. You're going to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here is my suggestion. Put a stitch marker on the starting stitches of your feet. You will not cut your orange. You'll keep it attached, okay? I try to do as little cutting and pasting as possible. I don't think it's good, so I do try to do it. I'm going to put a stitch marker on the next 4 pegs, even though we will be using only the next 2 pegs for the first foot. Alright, so here's how this lovely thing works. Okay, so we are going to attach our red. Down to the base and half knot again. Okay, now what you are going to do is you're going to take these 2 stitches right here, and you're going to knit them back and forth 15 times. So here is row 1, and here is row 2, and here is row 3, and so forth. So you're going to do this 15 rows. Okay, so pause video and do those 15 rows. Okay, so you kind of basically created an I-cord here, as you see. Okay, and then what I've written is to bring your original lips back, which is where you pick up your stitch markers. This is where it makes it really easy. Just pick up them stitch markers and put them on like that. And then you pick up your orange and you knit 2 together. Okay? 2 times. So you pick up your orange here and you knit 2 together. Two times. Okay. Now you're going to do the exact same thing in the next 2 pegs. So you're going to do knit 2 for 15 rows back and forth, knit 2, 15 rows back and forth, bring the original loops back, and you can then tie off after you bring the original loops back, knit 2 together 2 times. You can go ahead and cut the red and tie it off. So pause the video and get your other foot done, and then we'll come back and be ready to move along. Okay, so we should have 2 feet. 1, 2. See? 2 feet. Alright, now you're going to knit 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you have now completed what I put as row 5. As I said, this is exactly what I'm doing. I just did a Kitchener cast on for the hummingbird. Let me pull that down a little bit. Okay. Alright, so at this point, this is where you're just going to do several rows. In one row, categorizes as meeting to one side. So this is one row. Hold on, I'll tell you when the one row ends. So you're going to knit 12 on the one half and then knit 12 on the other, and that's going to count as one row. You may need to mark it and keep up with it. Okay. You're going to do this for a total of 5 or 6 rows. I'm thinking 6. Okay. So the best way to do this is you've worked your way around, go back the way you came, pick up. This is going to help you keep from getting tangled. Okay. I'm all about keeping you from getting tangled. The other thing you can do is a drawstring cast on, by the way, if you want. I just don't think it's going to look the same. Alright, so you're going to knit your way over, knit your 12. Things occur to me as I'm working, so I'm sorry if it's like, well, we're way past cast. But typically you watch a video before you tackle it. Alrighty. So, there's that. Now, up and over. That was one complete row. This will be 2 complete rows when I do meet back on the other side. You're going to do this for a total of 5 rows, I think. No, 6. We'll do 6 rows. So, we're going to do 6 rows. On the hummingbird, I did 10. It works if you want it a little longer. If you don't, then you only go with a shorter amount. Okay, so you work your way back the way you came. You pick up your other color, and you work your way over. Okay? You're going to do this a total of 6 rows. We've already done 2, so you need to do it 4 more rows. Okay, so pause the video and complete your 4 rows, and I will start explaining how you do your chest area. Okay, so pause the video and get that much done. Okay, so we've done our 6 rows, as you can see through here. Okay, so here's where we start doing the chest. Alright, so what you want to do is always do your blue first. That way it's out of the way, or whatever your back color is. Go ahead and do it first, and that way you don't have to worry about it. It's out of your way. That's the reason why I usually put it first in my written instructions, so that, you know, it's done. Okay. Alrighty. Here's where we do our short rows. So let me see what kind of short rows. Now, if you don't want such a heavy, you want a more shallow chest, do 2 short rows on each side. If you want a more rounded chest, do 3 wrap and turns on each side, okay? And for The hummingbird, I think I did 2. Let me check and make sure. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I did 4 wraps and turns total, so it's 2 on each side. And this is going to be a repeat section, so you know we're going to do it 3 times. So here's how it works. You knit over 11 and wrap and turn. Then you knit 10, wrap and turn. Okay, so I think and don't worry about doing the little thing here. You don't need to. And I'll explain why. Okay. But before you do it, you do need to do the little wrap thing between the 2 colors. Okay, so here you go. You knit your way over 10, wrap and turn. I won't stop the video for this. It's pretty quick. So, and then you knit your way over. Now, if you want a more extreme chest, we'll do 3. Yeah, it's not real extreme on the Kingfisher, so this is basically going right down the line of a hummingbird. The only thing you aren't going to get an exact replica of is the head. So, wrap and turn. You got your 2 wraps and turns over here. You're going to get your extra one on the other side. And you're going to knit your way over. Now, do know you're going to be repeating this row. And I will state that in the pattern. Okay, I'm going to do a wrap and turn. And then you have 2 here and 2 here. At this point, you're going to knit your way over. And then you're going to knit those 2 stitches together. Okay, so you can just go knit 2 together and knit 2 together. The reason why you didn't have to wrap it when you were doing that is because you can wrap it. Now, that completes a row, so you know. So, 2 and turn. First on blue so that it's done out of the way. Keep it on my notes here. Alright, then you're going to turn over here up your orange to it's in the middle of the so. Alright, and then you're going to under and over, and you're going to go ahead, and this is like, you're going to do 2 normal rows. So, beat on the other side counts as 1, side counts as 2, then you repeat the wrap and turn row again, and then so you're going to repeat that whole section. So when I started the wrap and turn, keep that in mind because that's the row you're going to come back to. I'm not going to show this again because I'm trying to keep my videos down to short. If there's a section that's being repeated, I don't tend to like to repeat it, okay? So you're going to do, this is going to be row 1 of just a regular row, and then the second row will set you back up to do exactly what we just did with the wraps and turns and then adding them back in, okay? So this should look familiar. This is kind of what we did with the bluebird. Okay. So this should kind of look familiar. So you just knit your way over, and then you're going to repeat all that section again, the 2 rows after. Okay, and you're going to repeat that 2 more times. What that'll do is get you set up. Now the other thing I think I did differently on the 3rd time around on the hummingbird is I changed to white on the front on my 3rd time around. So if you're wanting to try to do the hummingbird while watching this video, you can. Just know that on the third time around, I changed the orange section to white. All right. So at this rate, you cross around over. So we've completed our 2 rows, and this is where your repeat section comes in. Okay, and I'm kind of give you an idea of where that repeat section is. You're going to knit your way over. Always knit that back side first. Know what it is. Knit the back. Okay. And you may want to put tape on to let you know what's back and what's front, and make notes of where you're starting. I will try to, just like I do in my stuffed animal book that I wrote, how to, if the bird you're seeking is not in this book, how you can go about making it yourself through basic guidelines of what's already in the book. Okay. All right. So you knit your way over, up and turn. Okay. And you start from there and just repeat this section 2 more times. Right. And then we'll be ready to start the head. Alright, so wrap and turn, and back and forth. So you got 2 on this side, 2 on this side. Knit your way over, knit your way over with the knit the 2 together, and then 2 rows. Okay, so pause the video and get that much done. Okay, so we are fixing to start our head. And this is where I actually like the fact that this opportunity is going to come in. As you can see on this, there is a white speck here, and then there's blue and around. And we're fixing to start our head. And as you can tell with the Kingfisher, its head is huge compared to its body. So we're going to be using more than the typical 12 pegs. We're going to be using probably 16 pegs in order to do their head. And I'm going to actually show you a trick, okay, so that you have these sections here showing up along with the blue. We're doing the same short row concept. So we're doing the same short row concept. And the only thing is the beak is going to end up being a little differently, but this is a great opportunity to teach you a trick so that you're not having to do a whole lot of cutting and everything and trying to wrap that around. You have, scraps. So here is how we're going to do this. Now, you will see that we are on the other side. We're not at our starting. So here's what I like to do. Okay. I work myself. I go ahead and work myself around. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hit the 12 through. Alright, but we're not going to knit all 12 in the edge. Okay, and you will see that I will probably end up doing this on the titmouse, on its head, where I don't go up. You'll see that I do some sort of adjustment to incorporate for the half section. Okay, so what you want to do is instead, you're going to stop here, leave those 2. Okay, so you'll stop here and leave those 2. And what you'll do is you're going to change color to white. Okay? And you can do complete change of color. You're going to work a few rows. Alright, but you're going to stop 2 before blue. Okay, and the sections are not very big. Now, if you ever go in and go to design a bird and you find that you don't have the areas quite right, always duplicate stitch or take a acrylic paint pen and adjust that. And I do that. So, for instance, to give you an up close, when I do the blue jay, and the blue jay is hard to do that head with all the colors. In fact, blue jay is very hard. You'll notice that I've done a duplicate stitch here, and a lot of times that's what you can go in and do. For instance, like around the chest, you can do a duplicate stitch of black if you choose. If you don't, it'll still look like a blue jay. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. If you find that you have a section that isn't quite right, you want it as accurately as possible, that's how you want to go about it, okay? Now I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to need another small section. I'll move this out of the way for the moment. So what I'll need to do is get me another small section. It's going to hang out over here, okay? And you're going to do the same thing, but you probably want to plan that in before you even get started. Go ahead and have a little bobbin of extra color. And I usually, if you're doing such a small section, usually you just need a yard strand. Really don't much. Okay, so here's my other side. Say about that much. That's about a yard, if that. So that's all I need. So we'll do that. Tie it off the other side. Okay, I'm ready. Alright, so you loosen that up. So you're only going to knit 10. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll end up knitting 2. Okay, then you're going to wrap it, pick up the blue, and knit your 12. This is where you'll need to attach your other white. You aren't changing colors, you're just going to attach the white and knit 2 over there. It's not a very big section of bird, and you got to keep that in mind, okay? Alright, so we've knitted our way over 12. Okay, we're going to find our extra string that I just cut. I'm so bad about that. Okay, there's my extra string that I just cut. Okay. You make a little bobbin if you want. If you have a harder time keeping up with it, I usually just cut me a strand and work it. So you have strand over here of white, and you have a blue you're working in between, and you have a strand over here. You will, if you work like say the blue jay, you'll need a bobbin of white, black, and blue color, and white, and black and white. You'll need like a little bobbin here. Okay, so once you get that tied off, you can kind of twist that and you knit 2. Okay, so here we are, and we've done our first setup. So we know now we're working from over here to over here. So we're working a total of 16 pegs in order to do the Kingfisher head. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to do 5 rows of this back and forth. I think it's going to be 5. I think I want to do 5. Okay. What you want to do, and this makes it easier, is to slip that first stitch. Always slip the first stitch at the beginning of a row. The reason being is it creates a chain so that when you go to gather that up, like we do here, it actually rounds out the head. Okay. All of the bird's heads so far have worked like this. And in fact, if you're trying to do the hummingbird head, you just follow the bird pattern, the bluebird pattern, all the way up until here. And then when you go to do the beak, when you get down to 2, just continue doing the 2. Except the only difference is you're going to slip 1, knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, slip 1, knit 1. You're going to create all those chains. And remember my technique of putting the stitch marker on your slip stitch, okay? And then when you get to like, I think 20 rows, you start working your way back, adding those chains that you have with the stitch markers on it back, okay? And that creates this long thing, and then you finish it. And you finish it with a different color on the bottom half, just like the bluebird. I think it changes to white. So that finishes off your hummingbird if you're trying to do it, okay? Now, here we go. We're going to slip the first stitch, knit 1, change to blue, knit 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you want more white, you are more than welcome to do 3 pegs in white, and then do what is it, just the 10 pegs blue. It's entirely up to you. This is not exact. Depends on how you want to look. We're going to do, I believe, 5 rows of this. So we pick this up, we wrap it around, pull it, okay, and then you knit your 2. 1, 2, okay. Slip 1. This is row 2 we're starting on. So you get the idea, right? You knit your way over, wrap it under and over, and you keep this going, and that's what allows you to do these changes in colors in a flat area without having to do the stringers, I think is what they're called. Legs, stringers, I'm not exactly sure what they're called, but you don't want things crossing back and forth. So that's what your little bobbin of extra color, and you don't ever need much of it. Okay, and this is 2 rows. We're going to do a total of 5 rows, and then we're going to switch up. Okay, so pause the video and get that much done. Okay, I think I'm wearing this loom out. I have a peg that's looking a little broken in here, so I'm going to try to do my best to get through this video. Okay, so we've done our 5 rows, and we're ready to change up to the orange. And so you can go ahead and cut your white. And if you don't like the fact that a bobbin seems like a waste of yarn, do know that you have like this section here. If you can use your right for that, and that will allow you to use up that so that you don't think it's a waste. Okay. And that's what I do quite often is I will use it patient, get stitch, I will use it there. It's a good way to utilize that and not feel like you're wasting. The other thing I've been doing is all these little cuts here. I've been saving them in a pile, and when I go to stuff the bird, I stuff them in there so you can save yourself money on stuffing. Okay. Alrighty. So, and I've already got my bobbin cut, and now we're ready to working. Sorry, trying to self-situated. Okay, now we're ready to be working. So we're going to slip that first stitch and knit 1. Okay, we're going to pick it up, and we're going to do 2 rows in the orange just to kind of get us set up. Then we'll be ready to do our short row section, and it's going to be, I think, 3 or 4 wraps and turns. It's going to be a challenge to get through this. I've been working and working and working on this loom, so I've probably stressed the pegs quite a bit. Alright, so you're going to take and do your bobbin of orange here and change up the color. Okay, so I have a bobbin of orange that I'm using, and I'm going to change the color. Okay, and I'm going to put that white aside because I know that I will find a way to use it. That's how I work with things. Okay. And sometimes if I have a lot of changes in colors and stuff that I don't like are happening, what I have been known to do is knit in those tails. I don't like to, but I have been known to, particularly when it comes to an area that is going to be seen. For instance, the change of colors through here, I will actually knit in those ends so that you don't see them, so that if you ever lift up the wing, you don't see it. So, okay, now that we've changed color, we're going to go up and over. and you're going to knit 2. Okay. And you're going to slip the 1, knit, and pick up your blue, and knit your way over. Okay. Trying not to stress that peg and get through this. And Cindy Wood does provide you with extra pegs if you do need them to repair. I'm just trying to get through this project and don't need to repair it. Okay. It's the great thing if you bust a peg, which I don't know how that one got busted, but probably the stress. I've been making these birds every week, 2 a week, so I'm sure I'm stressing the pegs quite a bit. Alright, and you change up. Okay. Now we're ready to start our short row section. Okay. And this is where it gets kind of interesting. Straighten. Okay. So you slip 1, knit 1, and then you pick up your blue. And you can work just in the blue area on this one. So what you're going to do is you're going to knit your way over. Can't believe I'm trying to do this. Okay. So you knit your way over. And you're going to wrap and turn. Okay. You're going to wrap and turn. And you're going to stay in the blue. And you're going to wrap and turn on 3 on each side, okay? Is that weak pig? Okay. You're getting through this. Quite amused with this. Let me try to Gorilla Glue that thing tonight and see if I can't get it to last a little longer. Okay. Wrap and turn. You're working just the blue pegs. And you're going to do this a total of 3 times. Okay. Okay. Then, here you go. Wrap and turn. Okay. Here's your knit. Here's your knit. All the way over. Wrap and turn. Now, on some things you will be, for instance, on the Blue Jay, you will be wrapping and turning those colors, and you just got to remember to switch to those colors and wrap and turn it, okay? And that's how you're going to have to keep up. All right. There's that stress pig. Okay, wrap and turn. Alrighty. This is one of my favorite limbs, so I'm not surprised I'm stressing the pegs. Alrighty. Get our last wrap and turn. Okay. It's going to kind of work like the chest, right? And you're definitely going to want to do this at least 3 times. So, now that we've reached over here, knit that over, then we're going to knit the 2 together 3 times. So, you're knit 2 together 3 times. And you're going to pick up that bobbin orange, wrap it, and knit 2. Then you're going to slip, knit 1 in orange, pick up that blue, wherever it may be. Okay, and then you're going to knit your way over. Try not to stress that peg. So you knit your way over. Got a little storm going on. So. Okay. Then when you get over here, you're going to knit your 3 pegs together. One, 2, 3. Okay. And you're going to pick up your orange and leave it and knit. You're going to end up repeating this wrap and turn thing I've just did again. Slip one, knit one, pick up the blue and wrap it, and knit your way over. And you're going to do 2 rows regular. This is very, very much like the chest, okay? Because we're trying to create that curvature of the head, but it's more pronounced, okay? So then we're going to pick up and leave that orange and knit. And then remember, you'll repeat, slip. Try not to twist that peg. Okay. And then you're going to pick up that blue that wants to keep running off. And you're going to knit your way over. And then you're going to start the wrap and turn section again. And then you're going to do 2 rows after. We are working our way up to the beak. And something tells me that's probably going to be a beak peg. Well, maybe not, now that I'm looking at it. I hope not. Okay. And then attach. Okay. Okay. And then now you're going to be working your wrap and turns in again. So you pick that up and you knit your way over and wrap your turn, your last blue peg. Okay. And so you're going to repeat that section again. Try not to stretch that peg. Okay. Okay, and then wrap and turn. Okay, so repeat that section again, all the way to the 2 rows, and then we should be ready to kind of start adding the beak in, okay? So pause the video and get that much done. Okay, so what we're going to do again is you're going to decrease down like we've been doing, but you're going to stop. You're not going to go in and do the increase out. Okay, you're not going to do that. You're going to stop. So what I want you to do is pause the video and get yourself to the 3 wraps and turns here and the 3 wraps and turns here and stop. Okay, so pause the video and get that to that point, and you'll need to have a black on hand so that you can do your beak, and we will be going from there. Okay, so let me show you where we're at. We've done our 3 wraps and turns on this side. There should be 6 single stitches, 3 wraps and turns on this side. We did our last wrap and turn and we knitted our way over. Okay. Now we want to add our black. Alright, so my suggestion is don't cut your blue. Okay, just don't cut it. Okay. What you'll want to do is you'll want to add a stitch marker here on the 6th peg. I believe I'm trying to use this rickety peg. I have really worked this thing to death. Okay. And over here, just before that wrap and turn. See? There. Add that. I'm going to be working in between here. Okay. So now that you've attached the black, you're going to pick up black and you're going to knit 6 2 rows. Okay. So you're going to knit 6 2 rows. Now I will try my best to be careful with this peg. Okay. So here is row 1. I'm going to slip under there, and I'm going to actually knit over 5. Okay. And there's the second row. Now you can just knit this straight out 2 rows. Knit 6 for 2 rows. Okay, then you're going to knit 5. Okay. Okay. Here's where it gets interesting. Because the beak stays fat most of the way, and it's just the tip that has the point. We're going to focus on these 4 pegs for several rows. So we're going to do, I would say 10 rows of the 4, and I'll explain how to go about it. Okay, so we're going to slip that stitch. And remember, you're going to be working behind. This is going to help you have to keep from sewing too much. It'll get you a little better look. And you'll knit 3. You'll slip under, and you'll do this 10 times. See, okay. So you'll slip and knit 3. So this is 2. Okay, and then 3. This will be 4. Okay, so continue this until you have 10 rows done, and then we'll move on. So pause the video and get that much done. Okay, so as you can see here, what this means at this point is we want to 3, 2, 3, starting with the last peg here, then 2, 2, and you're going to do it 2 at the end 3 times. So 2, 3. Actually, we'll do it first. This is 2. Here is where to start so you're going to slip on it 2, find your closest, just this one. So pull your chain, knit 2 together. Slip 2, this chain 2, and then 2 together. You're going to repeat this until you do not stitch marks. So you're going to repeat this until you just have the 2 at the base, so you don't have these. Okay. So pause the video, continue that until you Okay, I have pulled this out so that you can kind of see what we've got going on there. Okay, so I don't have any more wraps and turns, and I have ended up over here. So what I want to do is start with that peg I finished with and knit 5, which puts me all the way back over here. And then knit, slip 1, knit your way over, and then slip 1 and knit your way over. Okay? At this point, you're going to attach, you're going to pull these original loops back up over here. And what that does, is the reason why I do this, is it really closes up that space and doesn't leave you with a whole big mess. Now you're fixing to find out why I didn't cut my yarn. So you're going to knit 2 together, knit 4, knit 2 together, and then you're going to snip, tie back off, pick your blue up, okay, and tie off your black. Okay. Now, here's where it will change up a little bit, and that little bit of scrap, that little bobbin of white, you'll probably want to pick up here in a little bit. So then you're going to knit 2 together 3 times, 2, 3, and then you're going to actually tie off this orange, and knit over in blue. And this is going to seem like the craziest thing ever, right? Okay, but you're going to want to change over to white. Alright, so grab your little crazy strand of white. Okay, and here is where you'll want to change color. So you're going to slip that first stitch and knit 1, and here's where you're going to change. Okay, and I'm sure you're sitting here thinking, what on earth are you doing? You're going to find out. And again, you're just going to tie it on. Okay. And yeah, I probably should have made me a bobbin of blue. Try doing that. Don't need much. Alright, I got me a bobbin of blue. Make sure you have a bobbin of blue. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to knit your way over. So you slipped 1, knit 1, and we've changed to blue, and now we're changing to white. And we're going to knit our way over. So we're going to knit 12. And I know this is completely weird. Why on earth are you changing colors that much? And then you're going to knit together, 2 together, 3 times. And here is where you're going to cut your orange and add your blue bobbin. There it is. Okay. Cut your orange. You can get rid of your orange for now. Just out of your way, and you can get rid of your black for now. You try to get it down to as simple as possible. Okay. Then you're going to take your little bobbin of blue and you're going to attach it down. and just tie it. Okay. Then you're going to knit 2. Okay. Now, what we want to do is, there's a reason I cut this so short. Slip 1, knit 1. Then you're only going to do this for 2 more rows. Okay. So, that's the reason why I cut such a short one. So, you slip 1, knit 1 on your blue, and then you're going to knit 12. Can't believe I almost got this. Knit your 12. And then you're going to pick up your blue. Make sure you wrap it so you don't lose it. Okay, knit 2. Okay, slip. You're only going to do this 2 rows because what's underneath the bird's beak is not much. Okay. And then you're going to pick up your white. In fact, since we're only doing that, we'll go ahead and tie off our blue. We'll go ahead and tie off that blue because we're finishing up and you don't want to have to mess with that. Okay. So go ahead and tie off that blue. Alright. You pick up your white and you knit your 12. And here's the funny thing, you're going to tie off your white over here and you're going to be working with your blue. Okay. So you're going to tie off your white. And you're going to knit 2 in your blue. And this is where you do that gather up your side stitches. And so here is what you've got. You've got your long beak through here. You've got your head that seems pretty large compared to your body going on, which is what we want. Okay, now we're almost there. Okay, so what you want to do, this is how I do it. You take your chains and you pull them over. You find one side of the chain, it doesn't matter which side. Just find one side and keep pulling it over. Pull as many as you can, okay? I don't know, one of these pegs is weak. Which is okay. And keep going. And keep going. There's a lot this time. I need to make sure I count them. Write them down for my pattern. Okay. And if you find you just can't get that last one, you can put it on here. Put on that previous one. Toss bottom loop over. As I said, this is not an exact science. You do what you want. Okay, so here we go. Take that, wrap it around, and toss it over. So we're going to toss 1. It'll get difficult to toss just a single one. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm surprised these are giving me such trouble. I don't. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Technically, it would have been 10. There you go. See? And now you've just closed off that section for the head. And you're just going to slip, and you're going to knit your way over. Actually, I probably should have stuck with my white. Okay, and then just before you get to that last peg, do the same thing. So, just keep bringing them over. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing it this way, you can get a crochet hook. I have a crochet hook on all. It's probably too small. You can get a crochet hook and you can start trying to bring this in. Now, so you can do this however way that you feel comfortable. Just don't pull it way through. Okay. So you can take it and just try to send it through all those, and then you can pull it through. But this is the way I like to do it, just because I think it's a little easier to just pull it on. Yes, you will stress your pegs doing this, so you can do it the crochet method. Hey, this is giving me this much trouble. Normally it's really easy. Yeah, I'm knitting tighter than up. Okay, almost have it. And again, if you get to a point where you can't fit anymore, just put it on the next one. Okay, I'm starting to think I should have done it. Okay, and then you just knit them all over. Normally it does not give me this kind of trouble, so I don't know what's going on. I normally don't have a problem with this at all. I've done 13 dang birds. Why it suddenly won't give me issues. Anyway. Okay. And just toss all these over. Let me see if I can do this where I'm closer to me. Cannot believe it's giving me this kind of trouble. I never had this kind of trouble with this. There it goes. Let's try to do what it's supposed to. Cannot believe this. Okay. There. Whew. Right. So, now, what you want to do at this point is do a weave-in bind off. And I think I'm going to do it in white. I have a feeling I should have done that. Okay. So, now that we have done that, I'm actually going to tie it right on the notes in white. Okay. So what you're going to do is your weave in, bind off. Okay. You do your weave in, bind off just like you do on your other one. Toss over, pull through. Go to the other side, toss over, pull through. Go to the other side, toss over, through. Do this back and forth. This side, toss over. Continue that all the way to the other side. Okay, when you do your weave in, bind off, it will be offset some. It's okay, that's not a big deal because you're actually gathering it all. And so what you want to do is you want to lock that down, and then you'll be ready to stuff your bird. So go ahead and lock that down and stuff your bird, and then we will go from there. Okay, so lift this up. Okay, so I've stuffed it, and what I've done to tie that off is I'm going to create my cinched eye area. Like I typically do. Okay. I usually go back and forth a couple of times. Okay. Now, here's the thing. If you run into an area that you think you want something done more on and it requires the white, you can go in and do with it. Okay. For instance, there seems to be a spot in here that isn't doing what I'm happy with. So I'll just sew it up. Nice and neat. And that's what you do. Okay. Alright. Yeah. Go ahead and do that. And if you looked at the picture, you had more white coming up in through here, and that is where you can go about trying to do more of the duplicate stitch. Needs to be sewn up a bit. So you may want to go in and do the duplicate stitch more up through here. You can do that with the orange. Okay, so how you can do that. You can do that after you finish it. Okay. And I will tell you this, stuffing is an art form. So you shape and you stuff and you shape and you stuff. Okay, but first what I want to do is show you how to close up the box. And what you want to do is you can do a whip stitch, and that's the easiest way to do this. Okay. So you find your end, something like over here, right? You send it through chain, right? And then what you want to do is find the next opposing chain, send it through. On the next opposing chain, and send it through. It's kind of like the weave-in bind off, but you're closing at the bottom. Okay. And before you finish, you'll want to stuff. You'll want to stuff it just a little bit more. But you keep doing this back and forth all the way across until you've got it closed up. Now you can do the mattress stitch where it blends in, more like Kitchener. Okay, I'm going to get it most of the stuff. Okay. Here's where you want to go in and start trying to stuff what's left. It may seem overstuffed, but what you have to remember is you can compress down the polyfill. Okay. Now, I think I'm ready to finish my whip stitch. You can see I've been pulling it a little tighter. See? So you can pull it as tight as possible. That gets it nice and cleaned up. Okay, and continue to go back and forth all the way across until you are completely closed up. You can tie off that. And that's where you'll crochet hook it in there. So just sit there and you shape it. Now you will do the closed wings. I'll provide the video link below. You'll do the closed wings for that. And okay, I apologize for any noise that goes on in the background, but I was trying to film at 2 o'clock in the morning and just got so exhausted and went to bed. So, as you can see, I did the closed wings. So I can get some light on it and give you a better idea. And shaping is going to make this bird what it is, okay? And I have found that once you do everything and you smash the head, it starts to create that kingfisher shape, okay? So it's something you want to do. Now, if you look at the kingfisher, there is some variations in the color, and it is a good idea to go ahead and do a duplicate stitch through here and any place like that. Particularly if it has white, because you can't use the paint pens, or unless you want to try to do a paint brush in white, you're not going to be able to get it. But as you can see, there's accent colors. There's darker sections here. And there's some color variations on the blue. Okay, and I did some color variations on the face. And sometimes that's a lot easier to do than to try to knit it in. And I'm going to make some suggestions as to what you can use. Okay, so I have these paint pens. They're acrylic paint pens. ARRTX, Artex. Okay, they are. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Anyway, they're a great pen for this kind of thing, particularly if you use the brush side. It doesn't stress the surface of the yarn too much, and so it still keeps it nice and smooth without affecting it. And the black does really good if you need to add more black in, which I did here. I had to add more black in through here. Okay. Now on the weave in bind off, it is off center, but if you do want it more center, you can just kind of find your way and weave it in where your center points are. If you want it more center, you do not have to do it the way I do it. Okay, but this is the finish of the Kingfisher. And again, you can go in and take some of the paint pens, and particularly the brush paint pens in acrylic. Those are the best kind to go in and create that variation in feathering. Anything like that is really great. Okay, so that is some alternatives. But I will suggest that if you have sections of white that show up, like if, for instance, I did have to duplicate stitch through here, it's just easier to try to duplicate stitch. I will put my link below on how I choose to duplicate stitch. And it's not, you do the best you can, but if you do not feel comfortable with a duplicate stitch, you will need to get an actual acrylic paint with a brush. I have not found a paint pen that works as well on the white areas, but you can use a paint pen to make adjustments where you want to get a more realistic coloration in the bird as needed. I do a mix between paint pens and actual duplicate stitch. I think I did more duplicate stitch on the Blue Jay. But this video is pretty much done. That kind of gives you an idea on how to make any adjustments that you would like to see to make it look more like the bird around the face and some areas like that. That is how you go and make a kingfisher. And remember, you can use this pattern, this video, as the base of your body, but then go over to your blue bird video and follow the head. The only thing is the beak is different. You work your 4 and then you work your 3, and then when you go to do 2, you're going to do 20 rows of 2, marking your stitch with your stitch markers like I showed you here for that 4 section. You're just going to do it on the 2 section, and then when you get to the tip, you start working your way backwards, and then you go 3 and 4. So that's the only thing different there. And then when you go to do the bottom half of the blue bird, you're going to change out and do red. So you can follow this video. You can make your own hummingbird based off of this, but this is how you make this body type. You can lengthen it, shorten it. I think it's going to be great for a duck. I'm going to use the basis of this for the nuthatch, but the nuthatch will do kind of a short row section over here too. But if you get the idea how this works, doing a short row section for a face is not going to be difficult either. So I hope this video was helpful in helping you understand this particular body type. And I hope to be sharing other body types, particularly the long necks. I think in July, if I can find some evening where it's quiet. With 6 people in the house, that's not easy. But if I can find some time that's quiet, I will try to do a video on how to do a thing like a flamingo or a swan where you need that long neck. And I will try to cover in if you need long legs like the flamingo. I'm still kind of mentally working on that. And I will try to do one for one of the parrot types with that curved beak. And I'll try to do a video for the birds of prey. So like eagles and stuff like that. So just keep an eye out. I will be continuing to try to put out videos where I can, when I can. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this, and please subscribe. Thanks.